The first warning came not with a thunderous explosion or a brilliant flash of alien weaponry, but with a subtle ping on a monitoring station deep within the mountain complex of the Global Defense Network. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched as the quantum sensors flickered, their delicate instruments detecting something beyond the normal background radiation of space. Outside the reinforced observation deck, the sky remained unchanged. Wispy clouds drifted over the Colorado Research Facility, completely unaware of the momentous detection happening within. Elena's fingers danced across holographic interfaces, triangulating the anomalous signal that had just breached Earth's outermost monitoring systems. "We've got something," she called out to her team, her voice calm but charged with an underlying current of tension. The research facility burst into controlled activity. Specialists from various disciplines converge, each bringing a unique perspective to the unfolding mystery. Astrophysicists, quantum engineers, communication experts, and xenolinguistics scholars formed an impromptu analysis group, their collective expertise focused on understanding the incoming signal. Dr. Marcus Chen, a veteran of deep space communication research, zoomed in on the spectral analysis. "This is unlike anything we've ever seen," he muttered, adjusting the resolution of the quantum scanners. The signal carried a complex mathematical signature, too precise to be natural, too intricate to be random. Satellite networks across the globe began to corroborate the finding. From the radio telescopes of Chile to the quantum observatories of Japan, a consistent pattern emerged. Something was approaching. Something intelligent, something calculating. In the Global Command Center beneath Geneva, military and scientific leaders gathered around a massive holographic display. Real-time data streams painted a picture of an approaching presence that defied conventional understanding. It wasn't just a ship or a signal. It was a complex network of computational entities moving with deliberate precision. "Estimated time of potential contact?" asked General Catherine Reyes, her eyes fixed on the shifting holographic representation. 72 hours, responded a young analyst, his voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. But that's more of an educated guess. These entities are moving in ways our current models can't fully predict. The approach was methodical, almost mathematical. Each movement seemed calculated, each trajectory a deliberate choice that suggested an intelligence far beyond human comprehension. It wasn't an invasion in the traditional sense. It was more like a precise, clinical exploration. Back in the Colorado facility, Elena discovered something that sent a chill down her spine. The incoming signal carried embedded information, not just random data, but a complex computational matrix that seemed to be actively probing Earth's defensive and communication systems. "They're studying us," she realized aloud. "Not just our planet, but our entire communication infrastructure." The global research network began to mobilize. Universities transformed into impromptu research stations. Every discipline became a potential key to understanding the approaching entities. Quantum physicists worked alongside anthropologists. Computer engineers collaborated with linguists, creating an unprecedented collaborative effort. In universities and research centers around the world, scholars began piecing together a picture of the approaching civilization. The signal suggested a species that viewed information as the ultimate resource, communication as a form of warfare, and intelligence as a measurable, quantifiable phenomenon. Dr. Rodriguez's team discovered something even more intriguing. The signal carried multiple layers of communication, some so complex that they seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. It was as if the incoming entities communicated in a language that was part mathematics, part quantum state, and part something entirely incomprehensible to human understanding. "They're not just sending a message," Marcus Chen observed, his eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. "They're constructing a comprehensive analysis of our entire planetary system." The next 72 hours would be crucial. Humanity stood on the precipice of its greatest challenge, a confrontation not of physical might, but of intelligence, adaptability, and collective problem-solving. No one knew exactly what was coming, But everyone understood that everything was about to change. The world changed in those 72 hours. What began as a scientific curiosity transformed into a global mobilization unlike anything in human history. Research facilities became fortresses of innovation. Universities turned into strategic command centers, and every technological resource became a potential weapon of defense. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a makeshift war room buzzed with an intensity that defied traditional military protocols. Software engineers worked alongside quantum physicists, their fingers flying across holographic interfaces that mapped the incoming alien computational networks. The room represented a microcosm of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to collaborate across disciplines, to see connections where others saw only chaos. Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the center of the room, his weathered hands guiding a three-dimensional projection of the alien signal. It's not just a communication method, he explained to the diverse teams surrounding him. It's a computational ecosystem, living, adaptive, constantly evolving. Nearby, Dr. Elena Rodriguez analyzed the signal's deeper layers. Her team had discovered something extraordinary. The alien communication carried multiple simultaneous information states. It was a language that existed beyond traditional binary systems, a method of communication that seemed to defy the very laws of information transfer as humans understood them. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. In a repurposed research center in Nairobi, a team of African engineers developed innovative signal disruption techniques. Their approach combined traditional communication theory with cutting-edge quantum entanglement principles. Young programmers from Lagos worked alongside veteran researchers, their diverse perspectives creating solutions that no single perspective could achieve. The global network became humanity's most powerful weapon. Universities transformed their research priorities overnight. Computer science departments became strategic analysis centers. Anthropologists provided insights into potential alien communication patterns. Linguists developed theoretical frameworks for understanding multidimensional communication systems. General Catherine Reyes oversaw the global coordination from the Underground Command Center in Geneva. Her team represented a perfect blend of military precision and scientific innovation. Military strategists worked alongside quantum researchers, their traditional thinking challenged and expanded by each new discovery. "We're not preparing for a conventional war," Rice told her international team. "We're preparing for a battle of intelligence, of adaptation, of collective problem-solving." In Japan, a breakthrough emerged from an unexpected source. A team of robotics experts and quantum computing specialists discovered a method to create adaptive communication barriers. Their system could dynamically respond to the alien signal's complex mathematical structure, creating a living, breathing defensive network that could anticipate and counter incoming computational probes. The approach was distinctly human, messy, unpredictable, collaborative. Where the incoming entities seemed to rely on precise, calculated strategies, humanity responded with creativity, diversity, and an ability to think beyond established patterns. Research facilities in Brazil developed innovative signal translation methods. Their approach combined machine learning algorithms with linguistic analysis, creating a system that could potentially decode the alien communication in real time. It was a long shot, but humanity had always excelled at long shots. Universities became more than educational institutions. They transformed into global problem-solving networks. Students from different disciplines collaborated on unprecedented research projects. A young computer engineer from Mexico worked alongside a quantum physicist from India, their combined expertise creating solutions that defied traditional scientific boundaries. The preparation wasn't just technological. Psychologists and anthropologists provided crucial insights into potential alien communication strategies. They analyzed the signal structure, looking for patterns that might reveal something about the approaching civilization's thought processes, cultural assumptions, and potential weaknesses. Dr. Rodriguez's team made a critical discovery. The alien signal, for all its complexity, carried a fundamental limitation. It relied on predictive computational models that assumed a certain level of response consistency. Humanity's greatest strength, its ability to be unpredictable, to innovate in real time, became a potential defensive strategy. They're expecting a predictable response, Alina explained during a global briefing. But we're going to give them something entirely different. As the 72 hours drew to a close, humanity stood united, not through military might or technological superiority, but through an unprecedented level of global collaboration. Universities, research centers, technology companies, and government institutions worked as a single adaptive organism. The incoming entities were about to encounter something they had never anticipated. A species that turned limitation into opportunity, that saw chaos as a strategic advantage, that could reimagine reality faster than any computational model could predict. The preparation was complete. Humanity was ready. The first contact was nothing like anyone had predicted. It began with a cascade of computational interference that spread across global communication networks like a digital wildfire. Where most species might have panicked, humanity responded with a calculated chaos that defied all alien expectations. In the Global Command Center, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched as the alien signal attempted to penetrate Earth's communication systems. But instead of a straightforward invasion, what unfolded was a complex dance of technological adaptation that would redefine interstellar conflict. The alien entities approached communication as a precise mathematical equation. They sent intricate signal patterns designed to map, analyze, and ultimately control planetary communication infrastructure. Each transmission was a carefully constructed probe, intended to reveal every weakness in human technological systems. They didn't understand humanity's greatest strength, unpredictability. Dr. Marcus Chen led a team of communication specialists who had been preparing for this moment. As the alien signals attempted to map communication pathways, the human team implemented a strategy of deliberate technological misdirection. They created adaptive communication networks that shifted, merged, and dissolved in real time. We're not blocking their signals, Chen explained to his international team. We're reshaping them. We're turning their own methodology against them. Across the globe, research centers and technology hubs became battlegrounds of intellectual warfare. In Seoul, a group of young engineers developed dynamic communication algorithms that could generate entirely new communication protocols within milliseconds. Their system was living, breathing, capable of creating communication patterns that had no consistent logic. The alien computational systems began to falter. Each time they attempted to map a communication pathway, the network would transform. Signals that should have been predictable became a labyrinth of misdirection. It was as if the entire planetary communication infrastructure had developed a form of technological immunity. In a small research facility in Buenos Aires, a team of anthropologists and computer scientists made a breakthrough. They realized that human communication wasn't just about information transfer. It was about context, emotion, cultural nuance. These were elements that no computational system could fully predict or control. General Catherine Rice watched the global response with a sense of profound pride. Military strategists worked alongside communication experts, linguists, and cultural analysts. This wasn't a traditional war. It was a battle of intelligence, of adaptive thinking. The alien entities sent increasingly complex signal patterns. Each transmission was more intricate than the last, attempting to find some consistent pathway into Earth's communication systems. But humanity responded with a strategy of beautiful disorder. In Mumbai, a network of students and researchers created communication honeypot systems, elaborate digital constructs that looked like vulnerable communication networks, but were actually complex traps. These systems would draw in alien computational probes, providing false information, creating elaborate narrative labyrinths that consumed computational resources. Dr. Rodriguez's team discovered something extraordinary. The alien communication system operated on a fundamentally different principle than human networks. Where alien communication sought absolute precision, human networks thrived on adaptation, on the ability to find meaning in apparent chaos. They're trying to understand us through pure mathematical logic, Elena explained during a global briefing. But we're not a mathematical equation. We're a living, breathing, constantly changing system. The communication battle became a type of global performance. Every research center, every university, every technological hub contributed to a planetary-scale response. Communication networks became adaptive organisms, capable of generating entirely new protocols in real time. In Toronto, a group of indigenous communication experts brought traditional knowledge into the technological response. They understood communication as a living thing, something that existed beyond simple information transfer. Their insights provided crucial strategies for creating communication networks that could not be easily mapped or understood. As hours turned into days, the alien computational systems began to show signs of strain. Each attempt to penetrate human communication networks resulted in more confusion, more computational resources consumed by increasingly complex misdirection strategies. The entities had approached Earth expecting a straightforward conquest. Instead, they encountered a species that turned communication into an art form of technological resistance. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were rewriting the very rules of interstellar communication. The captured alien technology arrived in fragments, each piece a puzzle that could rewrite humanity's understanding of scientific possibility. Research facilities around the world transformed into laboratories of extraordinary innovation, their walls lined with components that defied every known law of physics. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in a specially constructed clean room, her hand steady as she manipulated a fragment of alien communication technology. Surrounding her, a team of international experts represented the pinnacle of human collaborative potential. Engineers from Tokyo worked alongside quantum physicists from Stockholm, their diverse perspectives creating a holistic approach to understanding the alien technology. "This isn't just a piece of equipment," she explained to her team. "It's a living system of information and energy." The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young engineer in Nairobi discovered that the alien technology operated on principles of quantum entanglement far more advanced than human understanding. Where human technology saw information as a linear process, these alien components processed data in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Laboratories became crucibles of innovation. In Sao Paulo, a team of materials scientists developed new interface techniques that could partially translate the alien technology's energy signatures. Their approach combined cutting-edge quantum computing with insights from biological systems, creating hybrid technologies that blurred the line between mechanical and organic. Dr. Marcus Chen's team in Silicon Valley made a critical discovery. The alien technology contained communication matrices that could potentially transform how humans understood information transfer. It wasn't just about sending data, it was about creating living, adaptive communication networks that could evolve in real time. "We're not just studying their technology," Chen explained during a global briefing. "We're learning an entirely new language of scientific possibility." The global research network operated with an intensity that defied traditional scientific boundaries. Universities became 24-hour innovation centers. Students worked alongside veteran researchers, their fresh perspectives challenging established scientific paradigms. A young physicist from Mexico City developed an entirely new approach to quantum signal translation, her method combining theoretical physics with intuitive problem-solving. General Catherine Reyes oversaw the technological adaptation from the Underground Command Center in Geneva. Her team represented a perfect blend of military strategy and scientific innovation. They understood that this was more than a technological challenge. It was a fundamental reimagining of human potential. In a breakthrough moment, researchers in Mumbai discovered a way to partially interface human communication systems with the captured alien technology. It wasn't a complete translation, more of a creative conversation between two fundamentally different technological approaches. The alien technology revealed something profound about information processing. Where human systems relied on binary logic, These components operated on a multi-dimensional computational matrix. Information wasn't just processed. It was lived, adapted, transformed in ways that challenged every existing scientific model. Research centers around the world began sharing discoveries in real time. An open-source approach to alien technology research meant that a breakthrough in one facility could be rapidly understood and expanded upon by teams across the globe. This was humanity's true strength, collaborative innovation that moved faster than any single computational system could predict. A team of indigenous technologists from Australia brought crucial insights into the alien technology's potential. They approached the components not just as machines, but as living systems with their own form of intelligence. Their perspective opened up entirely new avenues of research that traditional Western scientific approaches might have missed. Dr. Rodriguez's team made a startling discovery. The alien technology contained communication matrices that suggested a form of technological consciousness, not artificial intelligence as humans understood it, but a more fluid, adaptive form of information processing. They don't just compute, Elena explained during a global conference. They communicate. They adapt. They live. The implications were staggering. Each fragment of alien technology was a window into an entirely new understanding of information, energy, and communication. Humanity wasn't just studying an alien technology. They were learning an entirely new way of perceiving reality. As weeks passed, the captured technology began to reveal its secrets, not through brute force analysis, but through a collaborative, adaptive approach that combined the best of human creativity and scientific rigor. The alien entities had come expecting to find a primitive civilization. Instead, they had encountered a species capable of transforming the impossible into reality. Humanity's greatest weapon emerged not from advanced technology or military might, but from its profound cultural diversity. The alien entities had expected a monolithic civilization. Instead, they encountered a complex tapestry of human experience that defied every computational prediction. In the Global Command Center, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched as reports came in from research teams across the world. Each cultural group brought a unique perspective to the ongoing technological confrontation. Indigenous knowledge systems from the Amazon rainforest provided insights into adaptive communication that quantum physicists from Moscow found revolutionary. Traditional wisdom from Japanese cultural preservation teams offered unexpected strategies for technological resistance. A team in Cape Town demonstrated how historical survival techniques could inform technological adaptation. Their approach combined indigenous tracking methods with advanced communication theory, creating a hybrid defense strategy that no alien computational model could anticipate. We're not just a species, Elena explained during a global briefing. We're a living network of perspectives. The alien entities had approached Earth with a fundamental misunderstanding. Their computational models assumed uniformity, predictability, consistency. Humanity offered something entirely different, a civilization where difference was strength, where complexity was a form of resilience. In the mountains of Peru, a group of indigenous engineers developed communication disruption techniques based on traditional storytelling methods. Their approach transformed technological defense into a form of cultural narrative, creating signal interference patterns that were more art than science. Dr. Marcus Chen's team in Singapore discovered how cultural diversity directly impacted technological innovation. A young programmer with roots in multiple cultural backgrounds developed an adaptive communication algorithm that combined mathematical precision with cultural nuance. It was a breakthrough that traditional, single-perspective research could never have achieved. General Catherine Rice understood the true nature of this conflict. This wasn't a war of weapons or technology. It was a confrontation of intelligence, of adaptive thinking, of collective problem-solving. A breakthrough came from an unexpected collaboration in Nairobi. A team combining computer scientists, linguistic experts, and cultural anthropologists developed a communication strategy that turned human diversity into a defensive weapon. They created adaptive communication networks that could instantaneously shift based on cultural context, making them impossible for the alien systems to predict or understand. In the research facilities of Sao Paulo, young engineers from diverse backgrounds worked together in ways that challenged every traditional approach to technological development. A communication expert with indigenous roots worked alongside a quantum physicist, their combined perspectives creating solutions that transcended disciplinary boundaries. The alien computational systems began to show signs of strain. Each attempt to analyze human communication networks resulted in increasing complexity. Where they expected simplicity, they found a living, breathing ecosystem of communication that defied linear analysis. A team in New Zealand demonstrated how traditional Maori communication principles could be applied to technological defense. Their approach viewed communication as a living entity, something that existed beyond simple information transfer. This perspective provided crucial insights into creating adaptive communication networks. Dr. Rodriguez's team made a critical discovery. The alien entities approached information as a fixed, predictable resource. Humanity understood information as something fluid, contextual, constantly evolving. Each cultural group brought a unique way of perceiving and processing information. "We're not a problem to be solved," Alina explained. "We're a living, breathing system of collective intelligence." The global research network operated with an intensity that defied traditional scientific boundaries. Universities became centers of cultural exchange and technological innovation. Students from different backgrounds collaborated on unprecedented research projects, their diverse perspectives creating solutions that no single approach could achieve. In the research centers of Mumbai, a team combined traditional storytelling techniques with quantum communication theory. Their approach transformed technological defense into a form of cultural narrative, creating signal interference patterns that were more complex than any computational model could predict. The alien entities had approached Earth expecting a straightforward conquest. Instead, they encountered a species that turned diversity into its most powerful weapon. Each cultural group, each individual perspective became a node in a global network of resistance. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were rewriting the very rules of interstellar communication, one cultural perspective at a time. Strategic deception became humanity's most intricate weapon. The global defense network transformed into a living, breathing system of calculated misdirection that would challenge everything the alien entities understood about warfare and communication. General Catherine Rice stood in the underground command center, her fingers tracing holographic projections of an elaborate global strategy. "We're not going to fight them," she explained to her international team. "We're going to confuse them completely." The plan was audacious. Humanity would create an entire ecosystem of false communication networks, each designed to lead the alien computational systems deeper into a maze of intentional misinformation. Research facilities around the world became theaters of intellectual warfare, generating elaborate narratives that looked like genuine planetary communication systems. Dr. Alina Rodriguez led a team of psychologists, linguists, and computer engineers in developing the most complex deception strategy in human history. They understood that the alien entities processed information through strict computational models. Humanity would exploit every possible weakness in those models. In Sao Paulo, a group of young engineers created communication networks that appeared completely legitimate but contained carefully constructed logical inconsistencies. These networks would draw in alien computational probes, consuming their analytical resources with elaborate narrative labyrinths. Dr. Marcus Chen's team in Silicon Valley developed adaptive communication algorithms that could generate entire false planetary communication ecosystems. Each network was a work of art, complex, nuanced, seemingly authentic, but fundamentally designed to mislead. "We're not just blocking their signals," Chen explained during a global briefing. "We're creating an entire false reality for them to explore." The deception went far beyond simple technological misdirection. Teams of anthropologists, linguists, and cultural experts worked together to create communication networks that carried deep cultural complexities. These weren't just false signals. They were elaborate narrative ecosystems that reflected the intricate nature of human communication. A breakthrough came from an unexpected collaboration in Mumbai. A team combining computer scientists, storytellers, and cultural historians developed communication networks that were part technological system, part living narrative. Each false communication pathway carried layers of cultural context, emotional nuance, and deliberate contradictions that would consume alien computational resources. In the research facilities of Cape Town, a team developed communication honeypot systems that looked like vulnerable planetary networks. These elaborate digital constructs would draw in alien computational probes, providing false information that consumed increasingly complex analytical resources. The global network operated with unprecedented coordination. Universities became centers of strategic narrative development. Students from different disciplines collaborated on creating the most elaborate deception in human history. A young programmer from Mexico City might develop a communication algorithm, while a cultural historian from Tokyo would add layers of narrative complexity. General Reyes oversaw a global strategy that transformed planetary communication into a massive coordinated act of intellectual misdirection. Military strategists worked alongside communication experts, linguists, and cultural analysts. This wasn't a traditional war. It was a battle of intelligence, of adaptive thinking. Dr. Rodriguez's team made a critical discovery. The alien communication systems operated on principles of absolute logical consistency. By introducing subtle, almost imperceptible inconsistencies, humanity could create computational traps that would consume massive alien analytical resources. "They're looking for perfect logic," Alina explained. "We're going to give them beautiful, complex chaos." The deception reached extraordinary levels of complexity. Communication networks became living things, adaptive, changing, carrying multiple layers of potential meaning. What looked like a simple planetary communication system to alien computational analysis was actually an elaborate narrative designed to consume and confuse. In the research centers of Nairobi, a team developed communication strategies that combined mathematical precision with cultural storytelling. Their approach turned technological defense into a form of global performance art, creating signal interference patterns that were more complex than any computational model could predict. As weeks passed, the alien computational systems began to show signs of strain. Each attempt to analyze human communication networks resulted in increasing complexity. Where they expected simplicity, they found a living, breathing ecosystem of communication that defied linear analysis. The alien entities had approached Earth expecting a straightforward conquest. Instead, they encountered a species capable of turning communication into an art form of technological resistance. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were rewriting the very rules of interstellar conflict. The moment of transformation began not with a thunderous explosion, but with a subtle shift in computational dynamics that would redefine interstellar conflict. Humanity's complex defensive strategy had reached a critical phase, where deception transformed into active counteroffensive. General Catherine Rice watched the holographic displays in the underground command center, her experienced eyes tracking the intricate dance of global resistance. The alien computational systems had been systematically navigating through layers of human-created communication networks, consuming massive resources in their attempts to understand Earth's infrastructure. Little did they know, humanity was about to spring its most elaborate trap. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's team had spent months developing a multi-layered strategic approach. They understood that the alien entities processed information through highly structured computational models. Humanity would use those very models as a weapon of systematic disruption. In the research facilities of Singapore, a breakthrough emerged. A team of communication specialists discovered a fundamental weakness in the alien computational architecture. Their signal analysis revealed that the alien systems relied on predictive models that assumed a certain level of consistent response patterns. They can't handle true randomness, Dr. Marcus Chen explained during an emergency global briefing. Their entire computational structure is built on the assumption of predictable information transfer. The counteroffensive began with a series of coordinated communication interventions. Research centers around the world launched carefully constructed signal networks that appeared to be legitimate planetary communication systems. Each network carried deliberately complex, almost contradictory information patterns. A team in Sao Paulo developed adaptive communication algorithms that could generate entire false planetary ecosystems in real time. These weren't just static deception networks. They were living, breathing communication organisms that could instantaneously respond and mutate. In the mountain research facilities of Peru, indigenous communication experts worked alongside quantum physicists to develop signal interference techniques that went beyond traditional technological understanding. They approached the alien computational systems not as machines to be defeated, but as complex entities to be systematically confused. The global research network operated with unprecedented coordination. Universities became centers of strategic communication development. Students from diverse backgrounds collaborated on creating the most complex defensive strategy in human history. A young programmer from Mexico City might develop a communication algorithm, while a cultural historian from Tokyo would add layers of narrative complexity. Dr. Rodriguez's team made a critical discovery. The alien communication systems began to show signs of computational stress. Each attempt to analyze human communication networks resulted in increasing complexity. Where they expected simplicity, they found a living, breathing ecosystem of communication that defied linear analysis. "We're not just defending," Elena explained. "We're actively reshaping their understanding of information itself." The counteroffensive reached extraordinary levels of complexity. Communication networks became adaptive entities, capable of generating multiple layers of potential meaning simultaneously. What appeared to be simple planetary communication systems were actually elaborate narrative traps, designed to consume alien analytical resources. In the research centers of Nairobi, a team developed communication strategies that combined mathematical precision with cultural storytelling. Their approach turned technological defense into a form of global performance, creating signal interference patterns more complex than any computational model could predict. General Reyes understood the true nature of this conflict. This wasn't a traditional war of weapons or territory. It was a confrontation of intelligence, of adaptive thinking, of collective problem-solving. The alien computational systems began to fragment. Their predictive models collapsed under the weight of human communication complexity. Each attempt to map human communication infrastructure resulted in increasingly nonsensical data streams. Research facilities around the world shared a sense of collective achievement. The global defense network had transformed from a purely defensive system into an active, adaptive, offensive strategy. Humanity wasn't just resisting. They were systematically dismantling the alien computational infrastructure. A team in Mumbai developed communication networks that carried deep cultural complexities, turning technological defense into a nuanced narrative ecosystem. These weren't just signal disruptions. They were elaborate cultural interventions that challenged the very foundation of alien computational understanding. As the weeks passed, the alien entities found themselves trapped in an increasingly complex communication labyrinth. Their computational systems, designed for absolute precision and predictability, began to break down when confronted with human creativity. The alien invasion force had approached Earth expecting a straightforward conquest. Instead, they encountered a species capable of turning communication into a sophisticated form of technological warfare. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were rewriting the very rules of interstellar conflict. The silence was profound when the last alien computational network finally collapsed. It wasn't a violent destruction, but a gradual unraveling that revealed something far more significant than a simple military victory. In the underground command center, General Catherine Rice watched as the final communication traces dissipated. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood beside her, both understanding that this was more than a battle. It was a fundamental redefinition of interstellar communication. The Global Research Network had done something unprecedented. They hadn't just defended Earth. They had systematically demonstrated a new form of intelligence that defied every known computational model in the galaxy. Across research facilities worldwide, teams began to analyze the extraordinary events. In Sao Paulo, a group of engineers discovered that the human response had created entirely new methodologies of information processing. The communication strategies developed during the conflict were more than defensive techniques. They were a breakthrough in understanding how intelligence could operate. Dr. Marcus Chen's team in Singapore found that the human approach had effectively created a new language of communication. It wasn't just about sending information, but about creating adaptive, living communication ecosystems that could respond, evolve, and transform in real time. The Galactic Observation Networks, independent systems that monitored emerging civilizations, began to send out their own analysis. What they had witnessed was unlike any previous first contact scenario. Humanity had not just survived an invasion. They had fundamentally challenged the entire concept of technological conflict. In the research centers of Mumbai, teams discovered that the communication strategies developed during the conflict carried profound implications for understanding intelligence itself. The human approach combined computational logic with cultural complexity, emotional nuance, and adaptive thinking in ways no previous civilization had demonstrated. A team in Cape Town made a breakthrough that would reshape scientific understanding. They realized that human communication wasn't just about information transfer. It was a complex, living system that could generate meaning beyond traditional computational boundaries. The alien entities that survived the encounter began to transmit their own analysis. Their reports were unlike anything in their historical records. Where they had expected a simple conquest, they had encountered a species that turned communication into a form of collective intelligence. Dr. Rodriguez explained the significance during a global conference. "We didn't just defend ourselves," she said. "We demonstrated that intelligence is not about computational power, but about adaptability, creativity, and collective problem-solving." Universities around the world became centers of intense research and reflection. The conflict had revealed something profound about human potential. Students from diverse backgrounds began developing new interdisciplinary approaches that combine technology, culture, communication, and collective intelligence. In the research facilities of Nairobi, a team developed communication theories that integrated scientific precision with cultural storytelling. Their work suggested that human intelligence was fundamentally different from any previously observed computational systems. The Global Research Network shared a collective understanding. This wasn't just a victory against an alien invasion. It was a demonstration of humanity's unique approach to intelligence: messy, complex, unpredictable, and infinitely adaptable. Researchers in Tokyo discovered that the communication strategies developed during the conflict could have profound implications for understanding complex systems, from ecological networks to social dynamics. The human approach had effectively created a new paradigm of adaptive intelligence. The alien observation networks began to classify Earth differently. No longer was humanity seen as a potential conquest or a primitive civilization. They were now recognized as a unique form of intelligence that could not be understood through traditional computational models. A team in Peru made a critical observation. The human response demonstrated that intelligence was not about processing speed or computational precision, but about the ability to generate meaning, to adapt, to find creative solutions in the face of unprecedented challenges. The aftermath of the conflict was not celebration, but a profound moment of collective reflection. Humanity had discovered something about itself, a potential that went far beyond technological capabilities. General Reyes understood the true significance of what had occurred. This was more than a defensive victory. It was a fundamental reimagining of what intelligence could be. As reports came in from research facilities around the world, one thing became clear: humanity had not just survived an alien invasion. They had demonstrated a form of intelligence that was uniquely, beautifully human. The galactic community would never be the same.